Hello, Gemini. Welcome to your tarot reading here on Dove and Serpent Tarot. Please hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards, use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Gemini, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And there is that Seven of Cups. Never really happy to see this card, but I think this is going to be all right. We're going to put this into some context, and we're going to use our Dove and Serpent spread. Yeah, we've got a lot of good... Look, we've got all this fire energy around whatever this kind of toxic water is right here, okay? So this is really good. And also, if there's anything you need me to pray over, meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Okay. Finishing up here, we've got a lot of court cards, more fire energy. You really are overcoming a lot in your life right now. I think just through really like sheer willpower, you're getting away from whatever is not benefiting you, whatever is not serving your needs, your aspirations, your goals in life. I think you're really able to get away from that stuff. And this is really good energy here. We're going to do a mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. We're going to use the Waite-Smith deck. And this is the card that we are going to just set aside. We're going to put the alien right on top. And hopefully that card will, tie everything together and give us the confirmation we need at the end of the reading. Okay, so fire, 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 a little bit of water, earth. We've got a couple of court cards, water court cards, and then more fire and more, this major arcana. This is the only major arcana that we have here, okay? So that's going to be significant as we get through the rest of these cards. Now, to begin with, the Seven of Cups. Right now, I feel like you are starting to get a clear perception of something in your life that is really just not working for you, okay? I feel like there's something toxic around you that you're ready to overcome, right? You're ready to move on from this. You're ready to transcend this thing. Now, this could be a relationship. This could be any kind of habit, could be a little bit of laziness, could be just overindulgence in something. It could be certain people or situations, certain attitudes or beliefs that you might have, certain employments, or again, like toxic relationships with family members, with friends, so-called friends. This is all of those things and any of those things, okay? Could be one, could be many, right? And the details really aren't what are important, because I think the details are going to be different for all of you that are watching. But I think right now, and especially Gemini, we're getting to the end of Gemini season. I think most of you would have had your birthdays already this year. Happy belated birthday. There still are a few more birthdays coming up, so happy early birthday. I feel like this is usually the time. I think birthdays and the new year are the two main times of the year that we really make these resolutions to do something good, right? To put away a bad habit or to sever ourselves from a toxic situation or a toxic relationship. It seems like we have these resolutions at these two main times of the year. And I feel like you've made something of a resolution. We see this Nine of Wands in the background here. And this is telling me that, yeah, you have kind of searched within yourself and you've come to many realizations. You've had great insight about yourself, about your life, about your psyche, about your patterns of behavior and thought. And I think you've really made a commitment to yourself. This is you kind of promising your inner self, your soul, spirit, your whatever it is, whatever you want to call it, yourself, capital S. You've made a commitment and a promise to yourself to overcome whatever this Seven of Cups is for you. Okay, I know what it is for me, several things. I'm sure you all kind of know what this is for you. And so the promise to overcome this, or the resolution to work hard on these things, is really an effort for us to transcend those things that are limiting us, that are holding us back, preventing us from moving forward in our life in the kind of full power mode that we could be in, right? And with this resolution comes the initial wave of activity. You know, when you commit to something, when you begin something new, when you make one of these New Year's kinds of resolutions or birthday resolutions, you know, we tend to always start with a lot of gusto, a lot of enthusiasm, right? We're raring to go. And sometimes, maybe not all the time, but sometimes that energy fizzles out after a few days or a few weeks, or maybe we last a month or two, and then we're back to where we began, right? So there needs to be something different this time around, right? There's something that makes this different for you. There's something that makes this a little bit more urgent, a little bit more important, a little bit more serious, right? Because we have this initial wave of energy and we're actually bringing it to completion. Here's the 4 of Wands. So we're taking this inner strength, this commitment. We are initiating our new activity, our plan, our oath, our promise to ourselves of this kind of new thing that we're going to do, or the behavior that we're getting away from, or whatever this is exactly. And we are actually going to follow through with things. Okay, and this is the special card here, because this is taking all of this fire energy and giving it a home, right? Really building it in, building a place for it here in the manifested world. I always say the 4 of Wands is like a campfire that we build. You know, campfires are generally temporary things, right? We take the fire energy, we give it form, we give it structure, we contain it, we set some kind of limits and boundaries to it. We clearly define what it is and how big it's going to be and everything about this. And it serves its purpose. We're able to keep that fire going for however long, for the night or whatever. And it warms us, it inspires us, it provides us light and healing. It dries our wet clothes. It attracts other friendly people in the area who might need some light and some warmth as well. It repels predators and unwanted, insects or, any kind of unwanted animals or whatever. And so it is. It's also a signal, I think, to others, to the universe, that we're here and that we're doing something, that we're on a journey, right? And this is a temporary thing. It's not as if whatever you are doing here has to be permanent, has to be, forever and ever and ever. If this is abstaining from something, if this is separating from a certain mode of behavior or certain types of relationships, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a permanent change for you, because I don't think that's really possible. Okay, I don't think that we ever really change who we are, but by gaining some sort of mastery over these behaviors, over whatever this water element is right here, I think that we make a lot of progress toward our own kind of self-mastery. If this is something you're abstaining from, master that, and you can indulge in it again in the future if that's your prerogative, if that's your will. But the point is to stay committed, right? To not break your oath or your promise to yourself. You say, I'm going to abstain from whatever, from soda pop or something. I'm going to not drink soda pop for 6 months. Now, that sounds terrible. But this card is representing you doing that. You're camped out here for 6 months. That's what you've committed to, right? And you're trying your best to stick to that. And at the end of the 6 months, you can either say, well, I'm going to just extinguish the fire, put the stones back, and I'm going to just move on. Or you could say, you know what, I'm going to stay here and see if I could spend a few more nights. I kind of like it here where there's no soda pop. I'm going to stay here a little while longer. Okay? So this is really about the skill that it takes, the commitment, the willpower that it takes to really keep the fire going for as long as you have committed to, as long as you've planned to kind of be out here in the wilderness doing the difficult thing. And if this is getting away from a toxic situation, a toxic relationship, or something like that is meant to be more permanent, well, then that's a bit of a different story, because that's a pattern that is kind of destined to repeat itself, right? So what we have to be aware of is that we may permanently get away from that relationship, but how long before, if this temporary, this campfire, this cycle, how long before it repeats itself again? How long before we see ourselves approaching a similar kind of relationship? Maybe not with the same person. Yeah, we've permanently severed that relationship, but a very similar relationship could come our way, right? So we haven't really transcended anything. In that situation, I think that we have to constantly be on guard and constantly be aware of these cycles and patterns. Now, we don't have any air energy here. I just realized that. So that could be an indication that, yeah, we're making these promises, these resolutions, these, birthday or New Year's type resolutions, and we're sticking to them for a while. We say 6 months, and then, all right, I've succeeded. But then after a few months go by, we're kind of back in the same situation, so we're not really making any lasting progress. And I think the lack of air energy here is saying that we need to be aware of that. We need to recognize with that air energy. We need some swords cards here so that we can have the clarity and we can be aware that we're repeating these cycles, that it may not be the same person we're in a relationship with, but a similar relationship is going to come eventually, unless we invoke that air energy, those swords, to really keep ourselves very discerning, very keen awareness and perception that, yes, I am someone who tends to fall into these cycles and these patterns. Okay, so we're still looking to transcend the cycle itself. And at the top here, we see the 9 of discs. And this, I think, is what you are now really focused on. And this is not so much transcending, but this is healing, right? We're talking about the transcending and getting that kind of awareness, but that's kind of in the future a little bit, right? The 4 of Wands is kind of the way forward. It's not right now. Right now, we're dealing with this current thing and our current objective, which is to heal from whatever this water energy is here. Whatever this kind of toxicity is, we need to heal from that. This is the 9 of discs talking about a restoration of healing. Right? Could be financial, could be a physical thing. It could be mental, emotional. Right? The discs contain all of the energies. So I feel like you're starting really to focus on health, right? On being whole and healing yourself. Again, through the physical recovery from whatever this is, or abstinence, or just kind of changing our behaviors a little bit. Healing ourselves emotionally if this is a relationship that we're getting away from, right? And this reading feels like it should be very celebratory, right? It feels like we really should be happy and excited, and we should be really proud of ourselves for having all of this fire energy, overcoming what's not working for us, and focusing on health and well-being, right? On our finances, on our fitness. We have really good goals right now. And we've got the energy to accomplish those goals. And the fact that this still has a little bit of a kind of shadowy undertone is showing me that this Seven of Cups, it was really a major thing. This is something that was very difficult, very painful, and getting away from it is also painful. But it's so worth it. It's so worth it, especially when we get to the Path of the Serpent. Now we've got one more card on the Dove, and this is the Three of Wands. This is underneath everything. This is your virtue, right? This is your ability to commit to these things. This is you knowing what to commit to, because this is an understanding of your spiritual will. This is an understanding of your fire energy, knowing where to direct it. See, we have this fire energy on the horizontal plane of the Path of the Dove. So you're able to do this work. The fire energy is there and can accomplish it. That's not a problem. Knowing what to accomplish and why. That's where the real kind of influx of the spiritual energy comes from. It's on the vertical plane, right? So this is something that's coming from above and coming from within. So you have the what and the why. What do you need to change and why are you changing it? The change itself you can do. It's all fire energy right here. This fire energy can very easily overcome this water energy. But that water energy, it's still pretty strong, okay? So it's not supposed to be easy, but it can be done. Surely you can do this. You just have to figure out what and why. Okay, and that's what these two cards are. Now, the Three of Wands is also talking about your character. This is you committing to something. You have the strength to commit to it and the strength to follow through. This is your strength to make the commitment. This is your decision. This is you knowing with absolute certainty what the right move is, and then you invoke this Nine of Wands to get the thing started, make the commitment. Right? So this is you knowing yourself, knowing your boundaries, knowing what you stand for, and knowing the strength of your own will, right? The strength of your own spirit. And I think that these two cards, we have the means and we have the objective, and then we have the action. And I think this is really fantastic. I think this is really good. Now we move to the Path of the Serpent. We have water, water, fire, fire, and that's where we've got the major arcana too. So general energy, this is a Knight of Cups, fire of water, so we still have more of this fire energy being carried over. It's being carried over into the realm of water, and I feel like since we started with water, and then we have this fire, we've got fire, now we have water, I feel like this is the potential for you to kind of enter into a very similar dynamic relationship situation with someone or something else that's going to be a repeat of this pattern. Okay? This to me feels like you repeating the pattern. Okay? You see the connection with the water and then fire and then the fire and then the water. It's like we're right back in it again. And the way that we can overcome that, I think, is firstly through this Princess of Cups. This is finding new ways to express our emotions, because I think that there are a lot of emotional factors for you that might be wrapped up in this Seven of Cups that we're not really dealing with. We don't have any other, like I said, we don't have any air energy. We don't have any other specific water energy either, except for these two court cards. And these represent states of being or kind of modes of behavior rather than specific details. you know. So with the princess here, I think we have to learn what the emotional basis is for some of these things, this toxic situation. We have to assess how we feel about it, why we feel that way, how those feelings play into the choices that we've made, and then also find new ways to express these feelings, right? The princess is like the page. It's kind of learning the ropes, right? Learning how to be a knight. So it just follows the knight around and tries to learn from it. So it's almost like following yourself around. This is the Knight of Cups, remember? So we have the page and the knight. It's kind of like you have to follow yourself around and take notes, you know, and try to learn from your behaviors. Learn from the fact that you seem to be going toward a similar situation again. In the future. The right now is the path of the dove. In the future, I think, you have to start probably a very detailed journal of self-observation. Okay? We have to try to, as objectively as possible, be aware of what we're doing, how we're doing it, and maybe figure out the why of it. And this, again, is going to require some air energy. We don't have any of that. That's kind of the missing piece here. I hope the mystery card is air energy. Now, the next card is more fire energy. So it's like we've got water to fire, fire to water, and then we're here in the water, we go back into fire. So it's just like we're going back and forth. It just keeps repeating, right? But the next kind of fire energy is the real transcendent fire. This is the eon, the judgment, the rebirth, reawakening, baptism by fire, the trumpet call that sounds the inauguration of your new future. Okay, this is a new era for you. So this is really about transcending. And I think that you are capable of this, and at the same time a little bit fearful of this. It's in the position of what we don't want. We almost don't want to get out of the cycle. It's unknown. On the other side of this doorway, we don't know what to expect, really. We kind of know that we need to go through this. We know we want to, in some ways, but we're still a little bit apprehensive. Okay. And this is the painful process of all of this fire kind of evaporating this water, this toxicity that we have here. I mean, it really is the perfect time for you to do this. It's your birthday season. Your birthday is either recently passed, or it's right now, or it's in the next day or two. This is the perfect time for you to make this commitment, for you to make these resolutions, to really begin the rest of your life, to really set out on a new path that is going to open up so much possibility for you. And that possibility is not just, you're making these changes and then suddenly you're going to get, all the best jobs that you want or meet all the best people. No, what you're really gaining is 2 of Wands. You're gaining the control over your own destiny. You're gaining the authority over your own life. You're realizing, at the very least, that you are in charge and that you can make these decisions. That through your own strength and will and spiritual force and fire, you can, I was going to say change, but you can alter the course of your life. You can alter your behavior. You can really know yourself and know your tendencies and your patterns and your cycles. You can get control over where you're going and what your future is going to look like. Okay, and this is a magic. This is beauty. And especially the 2 of Wands is really balanced fire energy. This is you understanding the cycles that you go through, and maybe we'll always go through these cycles and patterns of behavior. They'll always be there. We're human, right? I think most of us. So this kind of back and forth, this kind of cycle is always going to exist. But if we can become aware of it and get a little bit of control over it so that we can direct it a little bit, so that we can try to steer the ship in the right direction, that's going to be important. So I think this is the perfect time, right? This is an amazing opportunity in your life right now. Now let's look at the mystery card. Okay, I'm really, really hoping for the water energy, but I've been incorrect a lot lately, I'll admit that. The alien here is not doing as good a job as the frog used to do, so I might switch back to the frog because I feel like I was doing better when I had the frog on my side. All I can say is air energy. I'm hoping for that air energy. Page of Swords. So it's air energy. It's still the beginning. It's still someone who's kind of learning the ropes, right? It's still someone who's in training, learning how to do the self-observation, following around the Knight of Cups. You're kind of following around the Page of Cups here, writing down their observations of the Knight. So it's kind of, it's a couple degrees removed, but you're starting somewhere. So, maybe this is walking around with a little pocket journal and writing down your thoughts and your feelings, writing down the spontaneous things that you do, right? The intentional things are already intentional. It's those random things that we do, those spontaneous things that we do, our instant reactions to things and to people and to feelings, those instant feelings that we have. Those are the things that need to be written down because they are directly from the subconscious or the unconscious. It's not something that we intentionally will to do. It's kind of, they call them the knee-jerk reaction. Someone hits you right there on above or below the kneecap and your leg kicks out. So it's, where are these other reflexes in you, right? Where do energies, people, words, situations, feelings, where do they have to hit to get a reaction from you? And then you have to observe that reaction. And not that we're really looking to change those reactions. Again, we're not changing anything. We may be trying to kind of alter them or get a better handle on them or try to steer them in the right direction, but we're not trying to change them. Right? There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing that needs changing. We just need greater awareness. We need to expand our consciousness, and we need to try to steer the ship in the right direction, right? This is the perfect time for you, Gemini. I'm very, very excited. I think this is really an important time in your life. I think that this is the year to do it, or to begin this work. And I don't know if maybe you're having a milestone birthday. Maybe it's just you're just realizing that we are none of us getting any younger. So there's no better time than the present to begin this work of self-observation and self-direction. And I think this is a wonderful birthday gift. I'm sorry this wasn't all just money trees and birthday cakes, but I think it will be. I think having this 9 of discs up here, this is kind of the money tree, This is the abundance that you're trying to produce. You're trying to grow in your life. And in order to do that, like, again, if we look at these cards, this is the only earth energy that we have. Okay? This is what you're trying to grow. This is what you're trying to manifest. And in order to do that, we've got to get a handle on this fire, water, water, fire. If we get a handle on all of this fire, water, it really is uncanny that we just have literally all fire and water. And we're trying to get the earth energy. We're trying to manifest and build this life. And underneath it all we have is fire and water, fire and water, fire and water. I've never seen this before, to be honest with you. And I think with this air energy, I think now we're seeing it, right? This is us having that awareness, that discernment, these powers of observation to notice this. We need this air energy so that we can assess what's going on, that we can even begin to understand, or at least begin to observe what's going on within us and around us. Anyway, Gemini, thank you so much for being here. We're going to do an extended. If you would like to join me, just click on the link that's right here. I want to thank you for being a member to the channel. Thank you for watching these videos. It's my honor to read for you. And I want to thank you for being the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot.